80% of small businesses fail within their first 5 years. Now, if you're planning to start a small business or you've already started one, that's a very undesirable statistic. One that you don't want to think about, but unfortunately, it's the actual truth and the reality of all small businesses. If you're planning to start a business, the odds are stacked against you. But it doesn't need to be that way. There is things that can be done to ensure that you actually succeed. Michael Gerber, in his book, The E-Myth, E standing for entrepreneurship, very beautifully explains this. I believe if you read this book and place it at heart, it will ensure that you never ever have a business that fails. First, you need to understand why most people start businesses. What really is at the core of why most businesses fail? Most people who start businesses are technicians who get what he calls an entrepreneurship seizure. So who is a technician? A technician is really the person who does the core day-to-day activities of a business. For example, in the hospital, the technicians are usually the doctors. If it's a hospital business, it's the doctors who will do the treating, the what, everything that happens in the hospital, mainly it's the doctors. If it's a construction company, the main technicians inside there are the engineers or the physical builders, the guys who carry the stuff around. Those are the guys who do the technical stuff of building. If it's a restaurant business, for example, the technician is the chef inside there, or at least he's one of the technicians inside the business. So what usually will happen is that you'll be someone who is employed, you're working for someone, you're doing 9 to 5. Most people do technician work inside their business. And on one random day, you wake up and you're just tired of being the technician. You get what is called an entrepreneurship seizure. You suddenly want to start your own business. For some reason, you're tired of working for your boss. Maybe your boss doesn't appreciate you enough. Or maybe you're tired of being given orders all around. Or maybe you can do exactly what your boss is doing. You don't understand what the difference is. In fact, you're even the one who does most of the work in the business. Your boss just sits in the office, makes a few calls, and you're the one busy running around. You're the one doing the cooking and everything. You're the one who is treating the patients. Of course, you can start and run a hospital, isn't it? You've gotten what they call an entrepreneurship seizure. You just wake up, you want to quit that place, you want to go and get more money than your boss, and so you've gotten into the seizure state. Now, what most people don't realize is that running a business usually involves 3 personalities: the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. We'll go through them very quickly. The entrepreneur is the visionary of the business. He's the one who thinks about the possibilities. He looks about the business in its entirety, not just in its single individual parts. He has a vision, and once he has got the vision and where he wants to go, he will then start putting things together to lead them towards his vision. It's not about individual things, it's about the general picture. Now, the entrepreneur usually thinks about possibilities. To him, everything or almost everything is possible. He thinks about what he can do to accomplish this. What can he do to accomplish this? Ideally, the entrepreneur lives in the future. Everything that's happening currently is actually things that he has already envisioned and seen them happen. The manager, on the other side, is one that doesn't really crave change. The manager is the one who craves for order, organization at the company or in the business. He wants everything done a particular way. He wants the things placed in a particular point. If you've given him the way you want things done, he will ensure that the things are done that way each and every day. The manager doesn't live in the future. The manager lives in the past. Things that have been done in the past are what he wants to be done today. The manager and the entrepreneur usually clash. Why? Because while the entrepreneur is consistently envisioning things and coming up with new things, the manager doesn't want things to change. He wants things to be the way they have always been. The technician, on the other hand, lives in the present. While the entrepreneur lives in the future and the manager lives in the past, for the technician, it's about the present. The technician's worldview is the kind of view where the things you do are what make up your life. Unlike the entrepreneur who sees everything together and then he slowly starts breaking it apart, the technician will look at everything in its small parts, and to him, the world is the various small parts put together. So the technician loves the day-to-day work. He wants things done in a particular routine. He wants things done this way. If he's a chef, for example, he will want his food made a particular way each and every day. He doesn't want it to be changed. Occasionally, he will be excited about something new, but only for a short time, and then he wants to perfect that thing each and every day. Now, everyone is actually a combination of all the three. These are three different personalities present within each and every individual. It's not like every person has a different personality, that one person is a manager fully, another is a technician fully, another is an entrepreneur fully. No, everyone has different personalities. A simple way of explaining this is using a fat man and a skinny man. So imagine yourself, you finally graduated, you are in school, and then you start earning money. You're a skinny guy, right? And then suddenly, because you're getting money, you start eating a lot of food, you don't work out, you don't look after your body, and then you start getting fat. You get really fat. All of a sudden, the fat man is portraying himself. The skinny guy has gone to hide somewhere in your personality. The fat guy has woken up. You start eating, you're eating everything, you're eating all the sodas, you're eating all the hamburgers, you're eating everything and not working out. One random day, you wake up and you're 150 kilograms and you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm too fat. I need to do something about it. Of course, it's not the fat guy talking about it. It's the skinny guy. It's the skinny guy who has woken up. Just like that, the skinny guy has woken up. Now, you think about working on your diet. You're thinking about working out. So you start working out. You start working on your diet. You start doing exercises every day. In the morning, you wake up the next day. You stand on the weighing scale. You've cut a few pounds or maybe a few grams. Who is doing that? The skinny guy. Second day, same thing. You've cut a bit of weight. Who is doing that? The skinny guy. Just like that, the fat guy has actually gone to sleep. Third day, you wake up, do some workouts and everything, go and step on the weighing scale, you haven't lost any weight. You're like, what has happened? Well, we'll try it again tomorrow. You go to sleep. Wake up on day 4. On day 4, by the time you wake up, it's raining on the outside. You're like, it's raining. I don't feel like getting up. Who is speaking? The fat guy. Suddenly, you get up late. You don't go do your workouts. Go open the fridge. You're like, well, today I feel like eating a hamburger. It won't kill to just eat one. Who is speaking? The fat guy. So just like the fat guy and the skinny guy in each and every one of us actually has a different personality within us. 3 different personalities. So when the technician wakes up and he goes and starts an entrepreneurship business, the biggest percentage of him is technician. Maybe 70% of him is technician, 20% manager, and only 10% is entrepreneur. But he wants to wake up and go and do entrepreneurship work. You have, for example, been a chef and you've only been doing chef work. You wake up and go and start a restaurant. All of a sudden, you're not only doing chef's work. All of a sudden, you have to do the supervisor's work. You have to be doing the books and the accounts. You have to be doing placing the orders and managing the inventory. You have to make sure that the food that has been provided all of a sudden is not stale. You have to deal with marketing. You have to deal with advertising. So all of a sudden, you are doing only one job while you are employed, but right now you're doing 6 other jobs of which you have no idea how to do. You're only an expert at one, actually doing the chef work and cooking, but you have 5 other jobs you have to do of which you know nothing. So what do you usually do? While you are working for someone else, you are working 8 hours. But now that you're running your own business and you have to do very many other kinds of work, you have to work sometimes 12, 16, even up to 20 hours. So what ends up happening is that not only does the business become very tiring and frustrating and just feel like a worst time of employment, it ends up crashing because you can't do anything well. Even the one thing you used to do well starts frustrating you and the business ends up failing. So then, how do you get out of this? How do you actually create a business that you actually enjoy to work on? A business that will ensure that it succeeds each and every time and does not fail? Well, the model given here is the franchise business model. The business model that, yes, you understand is used by McDonald's and a lot of other franchises. In such a business model, it ensures that it doesn't matter who is running the business will always succeed. Imagine how many McDonald's businesses have been started all over the world. Thousands and thousands of all of them. And did you know that they have a 75% success rate in 5 years compared to an 80% failure rate of small businesses? This is really crazy. Now, it's not a mistake. That means that this is a business model that works. When everyone is starting a business, no one starts a business to become an employee in the business. The reason you ran away from employment is because you want to be able to do the things you want whenever you want. You want to be free from your business. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, when they do start businesses, they become trapped in the businesses. They become the businesses. The business cannot survive without you. That's not the whole idea of a business. The whole idea of the business is to free you up to do the things you want whenever you want from wherever you want. And so if you're going to be starting a business, you need to ensure that the business can run independently of you. You need to make sure that you can get a business model that will ensure that you can start this business over and over and over again in 1,000 different places, being run by 1,000 different people, and it will succeed each and every time. And that is the franchise prototype. So every time you're going to start a business, you need to pretend that you're going to franchise it. That's what you need to pretend. Even if you're not going to start one of such locations, you need to pretend that you're going to franchise it, and that's how you'll be able to start and run it successfully without it failing. Now, this involves a few rules, and let's go through them. Rule number one, you need to make sure that the model will provide value to your customers, employees, suppliers, and lenders beyond their expectation. Now, of course, value is something that is very different. Depending on the kind of business, value will always be something different. But the simple definition is that value is what the person calls it to be. For the customer, for example, value might be calling them up and following up to find out if they enjoyed using the service that you provided for them. For the employee, value might be being allowed to do the task that has been given to them using their own creativity without being pestered and told what to do. Just let them think, be creative, and deliver the best results that they know how to, and then scrutinize them in the end, not just pestering them. So in the end, you need to think about whatever kind of business you're doing, what is value defined as by whoever, the people in the business, whether it's the suppliers, whether it's the employees, it doesn't matter who it is. What do they define value as? You need to make sure that you define value, what value will be to those people, and make sure that you exceed it beyond their wildest expectations. Rule number two, the model will be operated by individuals with the lowest possible level of skill necessary. Now, this is very important because if the model is operated by very highly skilled people, it becomes impossible to replicate. Imagine you have to do it in 1,000 other places. What's the likelihood that you're going to consistently find people with all this skill set, with the highest possible skill? Number one, those people are very rare. Number two, they are very expensive. And what that means is that that's going to end up making your cost of production of whatever product you're producing very high. And in the end, it means that depending on where the place is, some people might not be able to afford whatever you're producing, or you will not be profitable. So you need to make sure that it's the lowest possible level of skill required. Now, of course, if you're running a hospital, it will have to be a doctor. If you're running a construction company, it will need to be an engineer. If you're running a restaurant, maybe it's a chef or maybe a waitress. So depending on the kind of business it is, it will be a particular level of skilled people. But you need to make sure that any of the people who have that skill set can run it. If it's a hospital and it's something to do with hospital work, it then need to be the most excellent doctor, the highest trained doctors to be able to run it. You need to make sure that the basic, the most ordinary doctors, the average doctor can actually run the work and do it successfully. So ideally, the model needs to be able to run independent of who specifically is running it and be successful each and every time. So your effort needs to be put in creating a system that people can work in, and this will produce the efficiency. Your effort should not be in working on the people who are going to be working in the system. No, because if the people change, then the system will fail. Work on the system that will ensure that any kind of person with at least a minimum level of skill can work in it and it's efficient. Rule number three, the model will stand out as a place of impeccable order. Ideally, the world is full of chaos, and generally in this world of chaos, everyone craves order. No one doesn't love order. So if your model is orderly, it will assure your customers that you understand what you're doing. It will assure your customers that whatever you're providing to them will be able to meet their requirements. It will assure your employees that they are in the right place and that they're in a place where they will actually grow and be impacted. Rule number four, all work in the models will be documented in operations manuals. Now, this is very important. If it's not written down, then it's not a law, it's not a rule, it's not something that needs to be followed. If you write it down, then it shows that for us over here, this is what we do and this is how we do it. It ensures that everything is done effectively and effectually. The model will provide a uniformly predictable service to every customer. What has made McDonald's, for example, very successful is that when when you go to McDonald's, you know exactly what you're going to get each and every time. It doesn't matter what location it is. When you go over there, you know exactly what you're going to get, in how long you're going to get. You don't go and get one procedure this time and then tomorrow you get another procedure, the next day you get this. Each and every time you go, it's done exactly the same way and you're going to get exactly the same result. People love predictability. People generally don't enjoy change. If I do it once and I enjoy it, if I can do it every time and I have the same results, I'll keep going back to the same place. And rule number 6, the model will utilize the same color, dress, and facilities code. It has been proven that particular colors spark particular responses from people. So you need to make sure that you scientifically determine the best colors that will work for you for the business. And once you've gotten them, stick by them. Use them each and every time. If the employees are going to be wearing a particular uniform, let them wear that color of the uniform each and every time they interact with the clients. You need to make sure that your place is painted the same exact colors every time. Like we said earlier, people love predictability, people love uniformity, people love it when they know exactly what they are going to get. So if you do it, test it, and you prove that it works, make sure that you use it each and every time. And so after you've understood the rules of the model, you then need to develop the model itself. The model is going to be the backbone of the success of your business. And it has 3 main principles for you to succeed in any business. Number 1, innovation. So everything that you're going to be doing in your business must have innovation around it. So what's innovation? Innovation must always take the point of view of the customer. It's never about you. It's never about your abilities. You see, the problem with the technician is that with technicians, there is no innovation. Yeah. With the technician will look at what he can do really well with the best results, and then he does it, and then after that, he'll be like, now, who can buy whatever I can provide? The entrepreneur on the other side will be innovative. They will look at the client. They will look at the customer as the main focus of the business, and then they will think, oh, the customer has this kind of problem. What can I do to fulfill the customer's desires? What can I do to fulfill the customer's goals? Also, you need to think about it in the aspect of the employees. You need to be innovative also with the employees, not only with the customers. So you need to make sure that whatever you develop in your model makes work easier for your employees. It should not make work ever complicated. Everything that you bring up should always make work easier and not more complicated and difficult for your employees inside the business. That makes work quicker and easier for them. And also, innovation ensures that everything that's done in the business is the best skill. Of course, best always improves, but you need to make sure that whatever you're coming up with, whether it's doing with the employees or the customers, is the best way of doing whatever you're doing. So number 2, after you've come up with the innovation, it's about quantification. So quantification is ideally making sure that you prove that whatever you've innovated actually works. This is about testing the hypothesis. You need to make sure that you have records for each and everything. For example, at your place of work, what color of suits do the people wear? You test out the brown suit, for example, and then you test out the blue suit. It has been proven that blue suits always outsell the brown suits. So then how do you discover that blue suits always outsell the brown suits? You need to make sure that you quantify each and everything. So need to make sure that everything is recorded, everything is written down on each and every day. What sales have been made? How many people have walked into the business? What color of clothes were being worn when we got this number of sales compared to getting this number of sales? Ideally, this is the scientific way of making sure that you test your innovations and see if they actually work. And finally, number 3, it is orchestration. Orchestration is making sure that whatever you've quantified and proven that works is what is done each and every time. If, for example, every time a client walks into the shop, there are 2 alternatives of things that can be done. Number 1 would be to present your arm and greet them. Hello, welcome to the shop. Or the second way would be, hello, how may we help you? If it can be proven that providing an arm and saying that welcome to the shop outsells saying how may we help you, maybe by 10%, then you need to make sure that you make it a rule that for every client who walks into the shop, you present them with your arm and tell them, welcome to the shop. That's the only way you ensure that things are done and you have the same results each and every time. Once it has been proven to work, you need to make sure that you do it each and every time. You present it that way each and every time. If it has been proven that blue suits outsell brown suits, then no one should ever come to work in a brown suit. Everyone should be wearing a blue suit at work, and that's what should be presented to the clients. I hope you've enjoyed the video. This is actually a very beautiful book that I personally love to read, and I trust that if you read it, you'll enjoy it too. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell, and right here I leave a link to a video that shows the kinds of businesses that never fail. Click on it. Catch you very soon with another one. Lots of love. Bye-bye.